Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. Sunday night here, weekend is winding down. What I thought I would do today is talk a little bit about what I'm doing with my portfolio, or will do with my portfolio over the next week or so. As you guys know, the election is now over. Trump is the president-elect, and that has some pretty strong implications for different market sectors. As you guys know, one of the big pledges Trump has made is to scrap Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, essentially repeal and replace it, which could have pretty broad industry-wide implications for the healthcare sector in general, with pharmaceuticals as well as supply chain side as well. Energy, as you guys know, alternative energy companies have been strong over the last year or so. That's probably going to reverse itself. Financials are probably going to be a big beneficiary of the presidency with Trump, as well as infrastructure, industrials, and aerospace and defense, which is what I want to talk about today. So I probably will be moving a little bit of my portfolio away from pharmaceuticals at the moment. As you guys know, I'm heavily invested in Pfizer, Portola, Abbott Laboratories, AbbVie, Cardinal Health. I may take a little bit of that capital out and put that into aerospace and defense stocks, which I think will be very strong over the next few years, especially with the commitment Trump has made, or at least what he has vocalized so far, of expanding the defense sector, essentially appropriating more money to the defense sector. Right now, it actually occupies one of the largest places in the budget, but with Trump, that may increase even more. So I think it's going to benefit a lot of companies within the aerospace and defense sector. So having said all of that, I have a few stocks here, 5 that I have picked out. These aren't necessarily ones that have been recommended to me. A couple of these have come up in discussions, but these are ones that have taken a look at for a while now, and I think I might jump in and grab a few shares of a few of these. Again, there's a lot of stocks I have on the table right now I'm looking to buy, but I think aerospace and defense would be a great addition to my portfolio. I currently have Boeing as well as Lockheed Martin. I think I'd like to add to that, at least a couple stocks here. So I have 5 here. Probably add 2 or 3 of these. So the first one here is Honeywell Corporation. This is a actually it's a multinational conglomerate company. Has a variety of different market sectors that it supplies. It's essentially involved in engineering systems, aerospace systems, for both private as well as government entities. Big thing with Honeywell, it's got a very large aerospace and defense kind of sector to it. As you can see on the bottom here, it has a great dividend yield, 2.102%. Good PE ratio. It's a very large company, large market capitalization, 86.31 billion. And you can see here over the last day and week, it's performed quite nicely, as you would expect with the election results. And prior to that, it was kind of stagnant, not a lot of movement. Over the last 5 years, actually, it's been keeping track with the S&P 500 index. Over the last year, it was kind of stagnant. So I think this would be a good company to invest in. I'm going to do a little bit more reading about its fundamentals, but this is one I'll have on my list. Another company here, General Dynamics. This is a company that's essentially, for the most part, 100% in aerospace and defense. This is a very large company. Market cap 51.33 billion. This is a maker of the iconic F-16 fighter plane, as well as a number of other products. But essentially, this is, for the most part, 100% in defense and aerospace. It's got an okay dividend yield, 1.8%. But this is a very well-known company in the defense sector. I think this would be a great addition to my portfolio. Over the last week, had a nice big jump there, as you would expect again. And over the last 3 months and year, it was kind of stagnant until that big jump here at the end here. Probably I'm getting into this too late, actually. but one company I'm going to at least keep on my radar moving forward. In the same sort of lines here, Northrop Grumman, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Again, this is an aerospace company, fighter plane company, as well as another company involved in essentially defense aerospace products, information systems, technical systems, but for the most part, simply defense. It's got an okay dividend yield, 1.4%. Again, a large company, large market capitalization, 43.75 billion. And again, kind of a similar trend here. Really jumped up after the election here. You see on the 8th to the 9th, jumping up, 8% or so. And again, over the last month, 3 months, and year, it's kind of stagnant until that big jump up on the end here. In 5 years, it's actually outperformed the S&P quite remarkably here, 373%. So, wow, that's done very, very well. So this is a company I'm going to be keeping on my list. The fourth company here, Curtiss-Wright Corporation. This is a corporation involved, again, in the commercial, industrial, defense, energy markets. It's a global diversified product manufacturer. As you can see there on the bottom, defense systems, as well as some commercial activities as well. Doesn't have a good dividend yield on this one, so probably won't be jumping into this stock. Its market capitalization is much lower than those other companies I talked about, 4.23 billion. This may be a company that has some good upside potential. Again, jumping up here from the 8th to the 9th. 1 month, 3 month, and year kind of stagnant over the last 5 years. It's got some good growth as well. Outperformed the S&P 500 index. So a good company, much smaller than the other companies. This would be, kind of a mid-cap company, not one I normally jump into, given that it's not a large market capitalization company and it doesn't have a good dividend yield. And the last company here, a CAE Incorporated. This is a company that is involved more in modeling technologies, training technologies, makers of flight simulators, pilot training, these sorts of pieces of equipment. It's got a good dividend yield, 2.2%. Again, this is a smaller company, a smaller market capitalization, only 3.82 billion. Over the last week, I'm not going to buy any shares. Over the last week here, actually, it really hasn't done a lot of movement here. This would be more kind of a speculative play. It's a much cheaper stock for the last 1 year and 5 years. It's performed okay, but it has been lagging behind the S&P 500. So I'm not too sure if I would jump into this particular stock here, but it's going to be on my radar moving forward. So again, 5 different defense aerospace stocks here I think are going to perform very well over the next few years or so. So a few smaller companies here, CAE Incorporated, Curtiss-Wright Corporation, both companies under 5 billion in market capitalization. And then we have some very, very well-known companies, Northrop Grumman here, essentially warplanes, as well as General Dynamics. And then on the front of this list was Honeywell International Incorporated. So 5 different stocks I'm going to be taking a look at with the idea that defense and aerospace is probably going to get a nice little boost from some increased spending with regards to military spending, defense spending, with the budgets moving forward, at least for the next few years or so. So like I said, I'm going to try to move a little bit of money out of the pharmaceutical stocks, put that into some aerospace and defense stocks moving forward. So what do you guys think about this? Is this a good play? Am I reading a little bit too much into the markets? Or what are you guys doing with your portfolios this next week or so? I think it's going to be a pretty wild ride this next week or so. I think there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the market. I think there's going to be a lot of repositioning. I probably have already missed it, especially with these 2 stalwarts of the defense industry, General Dynamics here, Northrop Grumman, both jumping, double digits here with regards to their percents over the last week. So let me know what you guys are doing. Overall, again, if you like my videos, feel free to like, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Give me a few pointers on what you're doing this next week here, how you're positioning your portfolios. If you got any good stocks for me, let me know. Again, I'm looking at industrials, especially aerospace and defense over the next week here, and probably getting into some financials as well. So if you have any good stocks in both of those sectors, let me know. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next video.